Welcome to a very special solo edition of Techness' very own Tech Talk Tuesday. I'm Matt Ray, your only host today. Neil's too busy getting one with nature. He's out doing his own thing, and he has not even a drop of cell phone service, which I can definitely vouch for because I tried to iMessage him and it failed. So, with that, we got a very focused, a very narrowly focused kind of show for you today for September 15th. We're the day after Apple's, one of Apple's events, right? So they kind of had a big announcement, really focused around fitness, the Apple Watch, a little bit of iPad launch stuff, but nothing yet from the iPhone. And I was looking forward to some AirTags, and guess what? No sign of those, right? But maybe we'll see some more of those. But I wanted to walk everybody through really kind of what they announced, why it matters, why it maybe doesn't matter, and just kind of let you get a feel for what all the hubbub is about. So with that, let's go first to something that's a little bit of a softball. They opened up with this Apple One concept. People have been talking about this for a while. They're like, well, we have Apple Music, you have Apple TV, you have Apple Arcade, you have Apple News, you have the kind of fitness piece, which we'll talk about in a minute. And then you have like your iCloud, right? If you need additional storage and stuff on iCloud, then maybe you're paying a little bit for that. So people were saying, these get really salty, right? It's $10 for Apple TV, $10 for like the Arcade, Apple Music, and then especially if you have like family subscriptions, it adds up quick. And so really Apple One is really their kind of answer to a bundle, right? So it's kind of a new old concept, so to speak, right? So depending on kind of what you want and what type of subscription that you need, so if you need a family or if it's just for you, right? The pricing is a little bit kind of different, right? So again, not a big deal. I think it definitely is going to save some money. I do like that you don't have to include everything, right? So if you don't want to use the news, no big deal, right? If you're not going to use their kind of fitness piece, it's fine, right? So you can kind of not quite a la carte, but you can definitely choose your own adventure a little bit here. And I think this is a really big deal for people that were early adopters, right? Like me, I did the Apple Music, Apple TV, which frankly came free, right? When you buy an iPhone, okay. But yeah, Apple Arcade, I really liked it. Guess what? I stopped it because I thought, am I really using it enough, I guess, to really justify the price? But I have been interested in kind of the Apple News Plus kind of service lately. Just there's a lot of magazines and there's a lot of stuff that's paywalled now that you can't get access to. So this is an enticement for me. So what does this fall mean? I don't know, right? I imagine that once we see the kind of iPhone actual release event and so forth, then that's probably when this stuff will actually drop. But that's just to kind of, I don't know, whet your appetite. One of the other things that were quote unquote big was really the iPad. So there was an iPad Air that was kind of announced yesterday, and just kind of a plain old iPad. But what I really want to focus on is this quote unquote plain old iPad, because it's really anything but. What I like about this is it's got the 10-inch kind of form factor, really nice. Okay. It's compatible with Smart Keyboard, and it's actually compatible with the newest Apple Pencil, which was kind of something that they were lagging behind on. Was not a huge fan because they really, when they launched it, of course, the most expensive iPad Pro, it was really where they wanted to put like their time and energy and the money. But so some of these features really were only for that more expensive kind of version of it. What we're really seeing though is that all this stuff is kind of coming back. It's, smarter, better, faster, of course, kind of across the line. And here's just kind of a little infographic, so to speak, that they put together. What I think is really cool about this too is that this new iPad, they actually moved. So you have the touch sensor. So instead of like the Face ID, going back to kind of Touch ID kind of concept, and moving that to the top button. So, on the top of an iPad where you got the power button up here, that is actually going to have the Touch ID sensor built into it, right? I think that's pretty cool. I think it's a great way to shift things off of the front screen into a more reasonable area, candidly. And already people are saying, cool, please tell me you did that for the iPhone. I guess we'll wait and see. right? But so if you are in the market for an iPad, I think this is a cool opportunity. It'll be actually it's available here in just maybe like 2 or 3 days. I think they're probably already taking orders and starting to they'll start delivering those by Friday. So yeah, the nice thing, it's at a price point of $329. So I think that's pretty affordable. I won't say any names, but I think there's definitely some people in my family that could go for this. I think for the better camera, kind of better connectivity, and again, the ability to kind of just scroll some notes, I think is kind of a big deal. But again, iPad wasn't really the focus of everything. I think a lot of news and a lot of thought was going around. That's right, Apple Watch Series 6. A lot of people were kind of jazzed about this, and I was definitely one waiting to see what was going to be the big news about the Apple Watch. What's the next big thing? If you recall, in the past few generations, they went from really kind of a Wi-Fi, Bluetooth only, into where it had its own cellular radio, which was awesome. What a great upgrade, right? Because so then you could leave your iPhone, sitting somewhere and go for a run. This guy doesn't run, but if you run, it made a good sense, right? So I thought that was pretty cool. So each generation is kind of added on. They had kind of like the fall sensor idea. They had the heart monitor, right? Kind of was like the last big thing. So what does Apple Watch Series 6 bring? Well, they're adding this blood oxygen kind of level piece to it that you can kind of see talked about right here. See what I did? Neil would be proud. He doesn't care. So what's really cool is they're using these LEDs to kind of shoot down into your wrist. And actually measuring the color and kind of reading your blood flow to kind of determine what the contents of it are. Sounds kind of creepy to me, but hey, whatever, it works. And then what I like is that they can measure this. I think it takes about 15 seconds is what I read for them to measure this, and they could do it in kind of an ongoing way, even while you sleep. What's the value? I don't know. So it's like a health thing, right? So it's just another kind of piece of the puzzle to kind of tell you. And I don't need a watch to tell me that. I know that I need to like lose some weight. Come on, watch. I don't know. Maybe that's not even what it's going to tell you, but I am kind of intrigued by this. Is it bad though that I was more intrigued? If you look really closely here, let's bust in on this. Do you see this right here? This little like braided, yeah. I'm definitely more interested in the actual bands, right? So I think there's some really cool corded bands and things like that are coming. There's actually a single loop where it's basically just like a silicone bracelet. So you just kind of wrangle it onto your wrist, and you're like, oh, okay. Oop, caught me. I know. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, whatever. So I think that's interesting. Is it interesting enough to go back to? I don't know. Some of us like me, I have this, on installments through AT&T. Is it worth buying it out and kind of going back to the pool for yet another run? I just don't know. Otherwise, there really wasn't anything that I saw in the Apple Watch Series 6 that I thought, yeah, I got to have that. Again, smarter, better, faster, right? So they increase battery life, increase the processing power, blah, blah, blah. There's new faces, things like that. Those things are cool. And I'm not trying to overly poo-poo that, but is it cool enough to re-up your $300-400? Gosh, I don't know. More on that $300-400 here in a minute, though. One of the cool things that's coming out with the new Watch OS in concert with, so to speak, right? These Apple Watches is family setup. So at its rawest, like simplest form, this is really for children and elders, which and probably for me, I've been called a child probably a lot even today. Let's be honest. But if you have people that don't have iPhones, right? Maybe they have flip phones. I have a lot of family members that still have flip phones, and I think that's fine. But they really like this watch, and they really want to be able to communicate, do like the walkie-talkie features. They want to be able to get alerts, and there's a lot of really rich contextual information that you can get on your watch that you really don't even need to go to actually a thick phone for. This is for those people. So using one person's iPhone, you can basically enroll and sync all these other watches up, right? So it's lets you serve as a conduit for your friends and family, so to speak, to get them up and going. That does kind of make you the responsible party. But I love this because it's just an extension of kind of that whole family concept. Um, this really, they're bringing a lot of features as well to help you kind of keep an eye on maybe some of your younger family members, right? So if you have children, they give them an Apple Watch, they're kind of out in the world, you want to check up on them. And parents want to do that, right? That sounds maybe nefarious, but it's not. We just care. We just care. Okay. So it's important. I think they've got some new features. Actually, was reading one blurb that somebody said, well, Apple just killed all those other services that are provided by like Verizon, AT&T, and so on that are that have like little gadgets that you can strap to your kid's arm and keep track of them. Because effectively, that's what this is, and it's a really a strong platform for doing so. And let's face it, it's cool, right? The ability to walkie-talkie my daughter when she was younger would have been awesome. Like no matter where she was, like and creepy, it probably would have had some gags when she was at a sleepover, but hey, whatever. So family setup, definitely cool. And if you're wondering like, oh man, when can we use that? Here's the good news. The new version of iOS, the new version of watchOS, the new version of iPadOS, which let's just all of them, right? It'll be out tomorrow. So they're actually launching the latest, greatest version tomorrow. I think that's really huge. And then for this specific piece of feature functionality, it'll be out on the 18th. Why the lag? I don't know. I don't know. What else do we got? Ooh, yeah, going right along with the watches. I said we would get to it, and we have now gotten to it. It's Apple Fitness Plus. So this was the little rings, like when we were looking at the Apple One. This was that subscription. This is really largely being called the Peloton killer, right? And when you dig in a little bit further, you'll see why, right? So from a price point perspective, and from like a data connectivity perspective, it's definitely coming for that market, right? So Apple Fitness Plus is a way for you to take all that health information that they've been collecting, collect some more, interface with different kinds of devices, right? So it may interface with your bike that's not a Peloton, right? Or you just tell that you're going on a stationary bike ride. It's collecting information on that. And here's where it gets really crazy, right? They have videos, right? So just like the Peloton, where you have your screen and you have somebody telling you to work out and you're listening to music and you're doing all those things. If I get back on my Peloton, and I will, I promise I will, then that's what you expect. That's exactly what they're going to have, right? So, here's really a little look at this. You're not going to catch me doing that. Okay, you'll catch me doing it. You will. But I think it's really cool, right? So you have these like live workouts, but you also have these like kind of pre-recorded things that you can follow along with. And you're going to see some of the same things that you've already seen touches of, like leaderboards and other pieces like that. I'm really anxious to see how this kind of comes out. They're saying late 2020, but for $10 a month, it's not bad, right? I mean, you think about a gym membership. Also, let's not forget that we are in the middle of a pandemic. No matter what you think about it, we are, and we're stuck at home, right? For the most part. So here's another great opportunity for you to leverage your devices you already have, or wink, wink, hopefully the devices you're about to buy from Apple, right? One last little piece that I would mention here is that there is a new watch kind of caliber coming out called the Apple Watch SE. So much like the iPhone had like the SE, which was kind of like a little bit of a thinned down version, so to speak, functionally of the iPhone. But for all practical purposes, it functioned just as well. Same thing here for the watch, right? So what you're really just giving up is a couple of features that, again, you may not even care about, like the blood ox stuff. But the price point on this thing is like $100 cheaper. And I think, man, that's pretty awesome, right? So, and it still is twice as fast as the Apple Watch 3, right? So just a couple generations ago. So this isn't really like they're rebranding their Apple Watch 3s or something and calling them the Apple Watch SE, throwing a fresh brand on them, like, cleaning them up and shipping them out the door. This is truly new hardware, and it features a lot of the really cool new stuff. So Those are just a few things that you have to look forward to. It'll be really interesting to see what the actual iPhone event looks like. Probably won't see that till next month, but no, we're going to see it next month. Let's be real. Yeah. Questions for me that I'm really kind of dying to find out. So the new iPads, they're all on USB-C, no longer the lightning cords that we all got talked into buying or that came with our stuff. So USB-C is kind of like the new universal standard, right? And you can plug it in upside down, this way, really whatever, right? Kind of like the lightning cable, but really compatible with just about everything, including Android phones and laptops. And, it's really used universally. Please, iPhone, please go to USB-C so that I can get rid of all this lightning stuff and make the transition that you're going to make me do anyway. I know you're watching Tim, Mr. Tim Cook. He's not watching. He didn't care about me. But if someone knows him, let him know. I really want that USB-C. It's probably too late. They've already manufactured the stuff, but I want to believe that we can get that. So that's about it for us. I've taken up enough of your time talking all my Apple fanboy goodness. Be sure to watch us live every Tuesday. Sometimes it's going to just be me. Maybe Neil's here next time. I'm hoping. We'll see how it goes. So we're live at 7 Eastern. Always check us out live on YouTube, also on Twitch. You can also catch like replays of our show on YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, sometimes on Twitter, LinkedIn. If you're like looking through some business news and you're like, oh, sure, I'll watch it. Why do you make that noise? Why do you make that voice when you're watching my stuff? Consider that. Always be sure to follow us on social media. You can find us most of the time at Technist Indie. If that doesn't work for you, if you're on Facebook, you go to Technist Consulting, and that's how you'll find us. This is where Neil is usually in a part of our show says, wow, I really wish we had a graphic for that, Matt. When are you going to do that? And I make up some lame excuse for why I haven't done it. This time it's just me. So, you know what? I can see myself in the screen, so I'm just going to give myself a dirty look. Yeah, thanks. Be sure to catch us next time. And if you have any questions or comments, you know where to send them. Be sure to subscribe, and we will catch you next time. Bye. Well, me, I think that went extremely well. Yeah, good job, me.